423 years. One continent. Countless cultures, wars, revolutions, inventions, and dreams. These is the story of the United States in just 13 minutes. Long before Europeans arrived, North America was home to millions of Native Americans and nations with rich traditions, complex societies, agriculture, diplomacy, and trade. Then came the age of exploration. Spanish, French, English, and Dutch ships crossed the Atlantic, chasing wealth, land, and power. 1607 Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement. 1620 the Mayflower lands at Plymouth. These early colonies were fragile, but they were only the beginning. Throughout the 1600s and 1700s, 13 distinct colonies rose along the Atlantic coast. They built farms, ports, and towns, but also depended heavily on slavery and the transatlantic trade. As Britain tightened control and raised taxes, the colonies pushed back. A no taxation without representation that became their rallying cry, and a revolution was brewing. 1775 the American Revolution begins. 1776 Thomas Jefferson drafts the Declaration of Independence, declaring a new nation. George Washington leads the Continental Army through years of brutal war. Finally, in 1783, Britain recognizes American independence. But victory brought a new question. How do you actually build a country? 1787 delegates create the U.S. Constitution, establishing a government built on checks, balances, and ideals of liberty. 1789 George Washington becomes the first president. A bold, fragile experiment in democracy begins. The 1800s brought rapid expansion. The Louisiana Purchase doubles the nation's size. Explorers Lewis and Clark map the West. Settlers head toward Texas, Oregon, and California. Gold rush. New states. New opportunities. But expansion also intensified a national conflict. Slavery versus freedom. North versus South. The country was growing and breaking. 1861 Civil War erupts, the deadliest conflict in American history. President Abraham Lincoln fights to preserve the Union. 1863 the Emancipation Proclamation declares enslaved people in Confederate states free. 1865 the Union wins. Slavery ends. Lincoln is assassinated. America is reunited but deeply scarred. After the war came Reconstruction and new rights, new amendments, and a new struggle for equality. But racism and violence persisted. Meanwhile, industry exploded. Railroads stitched the country together. Steel, oil, electricity, and tycoons like Carnegie and Rockefeller created the Gilded Age. Millions of immigrants from Europe and Asia arrived seeking opportunity. America was changing fast. 1917 the U.S. enters World War I, emerging as a major world power. The 1920s bring jazz, prosperity, and cultural change. 1929 the Great Depression hits, devastating the economy. 1941 Pearl Harbor. The U.S. enters World War II, helping defeat fascism and reshaping the global order. By 1945, America is a superpower. For nearly half a century, the U.S. faces off against the Soviet Union. Nuclear tensions, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, but also scientific breakthroughs, the creation of NASA, the space race, and in 1969, the first humans land on the moon. At home, a different battle rages, the fight for equality. Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat. Martin Luther King Jr. delivers I have a dream. The Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act. Justice moves forward, though slowly, and never without resistance. From the 1980s through the 2000s, technology reshapes life. Personal computers, the internet, mobile phones. Silicon Valley rises. 1991 the Cold War ends, and the U.S. stands as the world's lone superpower. 2001 the September 11th attacks change global politics overnight. Wars in Afghanistan and Iraq follow. 2008, a major financial crisis shakes the economy. 2010s, a social media rewrites communication and culture. America grows more connected, and more divided. A new century brings new challenges. Climate change, political polarization, global competition, and in 2020, a pandemic that disrupts everything. Yet technology continues to advance. Space exploration grows. New generations shape a new future. 423 years of exploration, struggle, innovation, triumph, and conflict. America's story is not simple. It is messy, imperfect, and always evolving. And its next chapter is still being written.